Alright, so this is actually going to be a slightly different video than what I usually do. I say usually, I've only been doing like fucking, what, 3 videos now? But it's going to be different than the past 3 videos. In this video, I'm actually going to show you guys how I go about building my trees on the example of the linden species that I'm working on right now. A bunch of y'all had asked in the comments and on Discord how you go about using the branches and the conquest branches and what you do first and what steps to take and blah 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 blah. So in this video, it's gonna be kind of like it's not gonna be a tutorial per se, but it's gonna be like a let's build. I'm just gonna be building a tree, you know, for my species and filming it and chatting while doing so. So yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. Alright, so I'm gonna be going for a linden tree. I'm just gonna start building and y'all can just, I don't know, watch how it is when I do this stuff. This is probably gonna be like a longer video just because I do not know where I'm going with this tree at all. I have like a rough idea of what I want to do, but I'm not certain. So I'm just gonna go for like a rough shape at first. But yeah, I'm just gonna build the thing, see if there's like a rough idea, a rough shape that I'm going for. And we'll just see how it turns out. So what I was thinking about having like a thicker trunk at the bottom that like splits off into like multiple thinner branches. Not like 1 or 2, but I'm thinking like four thinner branches maybe. Yeah, maybe we can already start like maybe that can be like a branch that goes off in that direction. I'm sorry if it's a little bit laggy. That's just my potato PC. It's not, ever since the last Conquest update, it's been a bit strange. Okay, so that's gonna be one of the branches going off in one direction. Maybe we can have like, this stump could become like a bit thicker and more circular in this area. That way it can like form one big, yeah, something like that, and then go off into that direction now as well. As y'all can see, it's literally just going with the flow, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. That's like the first, I don't know about that one to be honest. Actually it looks alright. But yeah, no, that's literally just the first step, is just checking things out, playing with shapes, whatnot, you know? Oh, this is gonna be hard. Okay, so maybe I can have this split off into a branch now. Let's see, like that could work. That actually, I do like that. That actually works pretty well. And then this is actually, this can just be that larger branch that like grows up really, really tall. I think that would actually look quite good. See, like that. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna make this thicker though. That way it works. Yes, sir. Ooh, okay. This is probably gonna be a bit longer video just because making these. I'm definitely gonna cut out like parts that are repetitive and whatnot when making this, but you know, I still want to show like the main essence of building these trees and what it takes. Because you generally like. I know in the videos that I post, it always seems like building these trees goes really, really quickly, just because the videos themselves are like 8 minutes, and oh, look, he's got fucking, I don't know, 1,000 trees. That must be pretty easy to make then. But each tree usually takes around half an hour, if not longer, depending on how big it is. Like a tree like this, a 2x2 block thickness trunk, like this is a pretty thick trunk, right? Something like this will probably take, I'm guessing, around an hour to complete. But you know, you kind of get the flow of it, so it isn't usually that hard anymore. I'm thinking if I can maybe like have this split off again to like another trunk, because it's quite thick down here, right? But it gets rapidly thinner, so it would make sense if there's like another branch that's coming off the side of it, you know? But I don't want it to connect. I want there to still be a gap. I don't know, man. Ooh, that actually works really well. I'm liking this a lot. And then gradually, see, then we actually have the four different large branches splitting off from the middle stump. The question is also, oh, by the way, the tree that we're building is a linden tree. I'm using ash logs just because I think it matches the bark closest. And there isn't actually a linden bark. It's similar to many of the other species. You just kind of have to improvise what you got, you know? So, let's see, how tall is that? I feel like that's a pretty good height for that branch. These trees, like, it'll, without any branches on it, this will look really, really tall, but it's not actually that tall. The moment you have, like, leaves and stuff, it seems like a pretty normal height for trees, you know? Yeah, alright, so, now that I got this done, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to grab, like, these blocks, and I'm going to do some of, like, the thicker branches that might be coming off of these, you know? So I'll have, like, for example, here, you can have, like, a little branch like that coming off of this. That way you have a split off. And in a place like here, I'd also want to split off. I'm just going to debug that. That way it fits better. And this one we could actually do... I'm actually going to do this one, like, going down a little bit. It doesn't have to be much. It can be, like, a couple branches here and there. That way, it gives the tree, like, a larger shape. And I like the area where all these 4 branches come together. I think that turned out pretty nicely. So the next step we're gonna do is we're gonna grab these thick branches, and you don't want to use these too much. So it's only 7 variants, but you don't want to do these too much. Don't want to have them too, like, dense with one another. And when they come out, like, I don't know. Let me see. I'm just gonna have one there would make sense, just because you always want to make sure that it connects right. But you don't want these going out too far. Like, you can have them, like, a little bit, like, that's fine, you know? But you don't want to have, like, I don't know, 5 blocks out using only the thick branches, because most of the branch work is going to be done with the smaller, or the thinner branch variants. Like, that works well. There. I'm just going to grab myself my debug stick again. Stick, one of these in there. Like so. This one you can actually make a little bit longer, I think. Oops, like that. I think that would work pretty nicely. I'm just gonna work my way up each one of these poles just so I can have a couple of these branch places sticking out. Of course, not all thin branches would have to originate from the thick ones. Some of them could just, like, come straight out of the trunks. But most of them, at least on the trees that I do, originate from these the thicker branches. Oh, I don't like that. I like that more. Alrighty. Here's one. There's one. Ooh, I actually got an idea for this. We can, like, take a diagonal like that and debug it, and now that fits pretty nicely. And it gives that cool little bump at the end. I like that. That's a very nice looking little something, eh? And I want 1 or 2 facing the interior of the tree. That way this place gets full too, you know? And maybe 1 more, like, comes straight off of here. Yeah, see, I think this, let me see, I'm just going to have a look around, you know, one more time just to check that we actually got all the place that we want to. I think this already looks very, very nice, you know? Like, if you develop, like, an eye for that kind of stuff, like, I can see most of these branches will cover most of the area of the canopy, not let it be too holy, or as in, like, have too many holes in it. I'm gonna break that one and put one of these here at the top just to give it, like, a little slight curve. Because right now, this is still the easy part. Like, the long, tedious part is when you start doing, like, the small branches. Alright, so now we're gonna grab all these small branches. Whoops, a bit of a lag spike there, too. Boom, boom, boom. Okay, now we have the small branches, and what I like to do is I just like to choose, like, the bottommost branch. I think I'm just going to start out on this side, and then slowly work my way around and up, you know? So going spirals around the tree until most places are full with branches. The tree species we're working on right now is the linden trees. One of the main characteristics of the branches on the linden trees is that the lower branches droop down quite a bit. Not all trees do this, but on this species, like, it's especially noticeable. So that's why I'm just going to try to replicate that effect as much as possible. Like, something like that. You see how they, like, hang down. Once you get higher, it doesn't do it that much. And also what I've noticed is on the older trees, they don't do it that much either. This wouldn't be, I mean, this is, like, a more mature tree for sure, but this wouldn't be, like, an ancient tree or anything. So, we chillin' on that regard. And you don't have to do, like, not every single tree is going to have the droopy branches, just like here and there, you know? a couple of them just to make things work out. The hitboxes on these branches and the way you place them are hella scuffed. But, you know, after using them for such a long time, you just really get used to the way they are. So it's not that big of a deal, to be honest. But it does take a little bit of time to get used to. I think my first couple of trees looked kind of strange as well when I was playing around with the hitboxes and whatnot, because just the placement of them is, like, weird, you know? But you get into it. This one's going to be interesting, though, because now we got to kind of have to work around the other branches we placed here, which isn't a big deal. Maybe I still want one coming out right here, and get like a droopy one, right like so. I think that would look nice. And you know, every couple of branches, you can just take a step back, and like look at what the way your tree is coming along. You know, I don't want to make these thin branches shouldn't go out too far, because you have to consider, like, on top of the thin branches you're still gonna put the branch tip, so that's another block further out, and then on top of that you're still gonna have to leave, so that's one more block further out. So you don't want the crown of the tree to be too huge, unless that's what you're going for, of course. But on these, I'm getting this one's fine because I've already done a couple of these. There we are. That's pretty good looking, in it. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good start for sure. Something you always got to consider as well is, like, not every branch has to be perfect, you know, because trees are nature, right? So in nature, all sorts of things can happen. Nothing's ever perfect and nothing's ever the same. So there's no such thing as mistakes when it comes to making, like, a tree like this. As in the wise words of Bob Ross, there's only happy accidents. So, you know, just kind of go with the flow and keep placing branches until you have a rough shape of a tree that you like. So, y'all having a good day? I'm just sat here talking to myself, building a tree. It's quite strange, actually, you know, making videos. Like, usually when you watch a video, you don't really, like, think about it, but while you're watching the video, it sounds like the person making the video is talking directly to you, right? But the fact is, I'm just sat here in my room making a video, talking to myself like a crazy person. I threw a wish in the well, don't ask me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. Pennies and dimes for a kiss, I wasn't looking for this, but now your step was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing, hot night, wind was blowing. Where you think is your ass going? Hey, we got K rounds, Glocks with 30s, gotta run up on me, I'ma do you dirty. Yeah, no, that looks pretty good for now. Alright, just gonna empty the inventory real quick, and now we're gonna grab the branch tips. And same thing as before, gonna start at the bottom and work our way up. Just find a starting point that looks good. Linden trees, droopy trees, whoops, droopy branches at the bottom, so I'm mostly gonna be using the hanging down leaf tips here at the bottom. Except for, like, in some places like that, like there it's fine, but, like, I mean the tips of the branches should be hanging down, you know? I'm actually right under here. I think it would be pretty cool to have something like that as well. I think that would look rather splendid. You know you've made it when you start receiving your first hate comments. I was looking, you know how, I mean, if you don't really have a YouTube channel, you wouldn't really know this, but whenever somebody comments something on a video, or you get a new subscriber, you get, like, a little notification in the corner of a YouTube thing, and it's like, oh, Quandale Dingle commented this and that and whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And I got a comment, like, a couple weeks ago, and it was like, wow, bruh, just watch this shit. Thanks for wasting my time. I was like, yo, bro. Dog, it's a Minecraft video. It ain't that deep. If you were watching it, you were probably already wasting your time, cuz. Oh my god, bro. Oh, look at that. See, we want to have, like, a little bit of that coming out because it looks cool. There isn't a science to this stuff, by the way. Like, I just place things here and there to make it look cool. That's like it. Like, I was on a walk and I saw, like, some little branches sticking out of a tree, like, at the bottom. I think the tree had, like, an injury or something there once, and that's why a branch started to form. And I was like, damn, that looks pretty awesome. So I'm like, okay, bet I'll just add it here then too. All right, so I think that's actually it. Looks as though we got every single branch on this tree. Something that I like to do before I do the leaves is I like to put the moss on it, right? I know some folks will do like, oh, you'll do a variant without moss, and then a variant like with moss, and then like with a lot of moss, and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, bruh, like trees usually have moss on it. For me, I don't mind it having all my trees with a little bit of moss. Some I'll do with more, some I'll do with less. The brown one, because that one fits, I think, a lot better with the mossy trunk. And then I'll just, you know, dabble it here and there. I'll have a little bit at the bottom, but it doesn't have to be like a crazy amount. You know, some of the trees I'll have like a lot at the bottom, you know, but then there'll be some where I'll have like hardly any. Usually wherever the trees split, there would be a bit of moss. So, you know, somewhere like here, you know, where the big branch splits off, you can have moss there, or like somewhere like that. Now comes the fun part. No, I'm just kidding. It's actually the worst part, the leaves. It's the part where you can fuck the most shit up. But that's alright, that's alright. We're just gonna grab it. We're just gonna grab our leaves. And same thing as before, start at the bottom, work your way up. We want to make sure that, like I said, we don't want that blob of leaves, so we're gonna be pretty sparing? I don't know. Well, we're gonna not place like a crap ton of leaves on every single branch, right? We kind of want to have the air gaps and, you know, spaces in between, because Conquest leaves take up usually more than one block. So you have like leaves sticking out, so there's not actually that big of an issue if there's a bit of air gap here and there, you know. So yeah, just don't want it to be too dense. Kind of chill with the leaves, you know. Just place some here and there. If you see a gap, if you finish your tree and there's like, oh, okay, look, you got a gap, you don't really like that, just either put in another branch, or maybe you can attach some of the leaves to some of the branches that are already existing, fill in some of the air gaps here and there. Just check what that looks like in the end. It shouldn't actually take all that long, because leaves is usually the fastest part. The small branches is what takes the longest, for me at least. Maybe y'all are goated at the game, I don't know. Okay, let's take a step back, have a look. See, like, this is already looking pretty nice, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like this, this was the long branch that we had sticking out here. And I kind of like the way this is looking. I like the droopiness. I like that it's protruding a wee bit. So let's just move on from there. See, so now we're starting to get somewhere. There's still like a bunch of gaps that I don't like. So when I look around this, right, so something that I don't like, when I'm standing right here, it looks like there's almost like an air belt that goes all the way around the tree. You gotta fix that still, right? I do actually kind of like this hole coming up here. I think it could be a little bit more attached in this section right here, but I like that there's a little, a wave of no leaves here, right? And this up here is still unacceptable. So now I'm gonna actually grab, some of these branches, and I'm gonna place like a branch right there. And then that's filled up, and I'm also gonna place a branch like right about there. Something that I like to do is also, so towards the bottom here, you'll see there's a lot more air pockets in the leaves, which is fine, right? And then the moment you start going to the top, there's a lot less. The reason I do that is because when you're standing underneath the tree and you look up, you don't want to see all those air pockets. It should seem like a dense foliage layer, you know? On the sides, it's not quite as important, because when you look at the top from the sides, it still seems dense, even though there's more air pockets, just because, you know, they layer upon each other. But that's just something that I've learned to start doing, because I think it makes the whole, I think it makes the effect a lot cooler. There we are. I'm gonna grab these branches like so, and I'm just going to have another small branch sticking out here that's going downwards. Like that, yeah. And then I'll maybe just add one of the straight ones coming out like so. And now, if I put leaves on here and here, that already looks, see, I like that a lot more already. See, now it's already looking a lot denser and full and stuff, and we can actually put some right here. Something you don't really want to do, you don't just want to have, like, for example, if you have a hole like this, you don't just want to add, like, leaves where there's no branches attached to it, right? But let's say there's no branch here, right? You can't just like add leaves like that. That would look kind of weird then, the moment you look at it from the inside, because there's like, oh, no branches attached to it. It's just floating leaves for no reason. Alrighty. This looks like quite a nice tree now, actually. I do like the way that turned out. I'm still gonna add a little bit of leaves down here. That, and maybe like another one right here's. Oops. Like so, because of that branch there. You don't want to have too many on the inside, but you know, you want a couple. Why that shit look ass though? What the hell? Okay, I guess not then. Oh no, I'm breaking things. There we are. Fuck, now I broke another something. God damn it. Alright, so I think this is actually pretty much finished when it comes to that. Now I'm just gonna grab some dead bushes. You know, just here and there. Don't overdo it. That's a bit much. I'm gonna place a bush there because that looks kind of cool, you know. Some people be anti plants in your trees. I like it if it's used sparingly. Look, see that I like. See, so this is actually, you can see this from the outside. It looks kind of like a dead scruff of leaves. That may adds the effect of the tree-ness, you know. Something that you could still do is you could still add mistletoe. So this is a linden tree, and linden do have mistletoe. Well, actually, quite often. So you could if you want to. I don't need it on this one because I already did a couple in for the next video that have mistletoe in them. But yes, mistletoe is a very underutilized tool. It adds to the aesthetic. And now we're gonna do the moss and the epiphytes. So I'm just gonna grab that lichen looks cool. That looks cool. Maybe something like that. There. Look at that. Ain't that nice? Tiny little detail. Nobody's ever gonna notice it, but you know it's there. So that's why. Oh, see. Oh, that's actually a perfect place for like an epiphyte. Yeah, see that I think looks pretty cool. This is the wild overgrown nettles for all y'all wondering. It looks kind of like a tiny fern a little bit, you know? Yeah, in the last video, some folks were asking in the comments and on Discord, like, where do I get my ancient tree knowledge and wisdom from? It's like, bruh, I'm outside a lot. I just like going in nature and I look at trees, you know? I mean, I also do like research on things here and there, you know. Ooh, that I like that actually. That's pretty cool. Oh no, yeah, you know what I want? I want wait, what's that one called? It's also like a moss. This one here, the yellow moss. I think that looks nice there. But yeah, no, I do research on the things that I build. I look at a lot of pictures of trees. I have tons of books. Don't want to toot my own horn here, but I'm quite the academic. Check it out now, lads. Bruzz and huz. This is, I'd say, a finished tree. Big W's, big W's. Alright, Bruzz, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I know it was a longer one, and for some of y'all this is probably uninteresting, but I hope y'all liked it nonetheless. There will be another one showing the complete species that I finished with this. So this is the linden species. There's probably going to be another video in the next couple days. You know, like another classic one where I just show off the whole species. But anyway, I hope this helped y'all with your tree building endeavors, and now you guys understand how I go about building my trees. And yeah, I hope y'all have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.